So here I am coming down on the anchor line. As the special notes indicated, there's a permanent anchor line just to the port side of the wreck. Here a buddy of mine has already clipped off his strobe. This is a technique that we use to just make it a bit easier to find the anchor line. And throughout this video you'll see the strobes blinking in the distance, and you'll appreciate just how easy it is to find those. So I'm clipping my strobe off here as well so that we both know where we're at in the lit portion of the dive. And as I take a moment of zen for myself and sort some things out, here's a drawing of the Northerner, and the red arrow there is where the anchor line is currently at. This drawing is courtesy of the Wisconsin Historical Society Maritime Preservation and Archaeology Program. And I will link to their website. It's a great website if you're looking for information on wrecks in Wisconsin waters. So as you can see here, I'm going to start off my dive at the stern. And my dive plan, this is my first dive on the Northerner. So my plan is just to introduce myself to the wreck and see what she wants to share with me. The plan is that I'm going to swim around the perimeter on the outside of the ship, just getting a good sense as to what she looks like on the outside, and then I'm going to make my way over and above the decking of the shipwreck. Certainly would be willing to penetrate into her hull, but it's filled with cargo from her last run, which is just wood, and we'll get some good shots of it there. Not right now, I mean we will later. The Northerner went down in 1886, November 29th, in fact, of 1868, November 29, 1868, which was just about 3.5 years after the Civil War ended. Give you a little time frame. This thing's been on the bottom of Lake Michigan for quite a while. And it makes you wonder what her crew and captain may have been doing during the Civil War. There were no loss of lives in the sinking of this wreck. From what I can tell from research, it looks like there may have only been 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6, half dozen or less crew on this ship as she would sail the Great Lakes. There's just a great shot of the stern of this vessel. She sits in about 135 feet of water. And here you can see some of the damage to her hull. Apparently she was bouncing on the bottom as she was at a port getting loaded with cargo, and that's what caused some of the damage to her, which you can see looks fairly extensive here. The captain, trying to save the vessel and all he could, stopped at Port Washington to offload the cargo that was on the deck of the ship, so there's not much on the deck. And then he tried to get to Milwaukee, which was her home port, for repairs. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. Well, maybe I would argue fortunately they didn't make it, because it's a great wreck to dive. She's right around 80 feet long. She was a double-masted schooner. People often ask me what the bottom of Lake Michigan looks like, and well, here you go. It's fairly flat with a bunch of mussels on it that are helping keep the visibility of the lake as good as it is, but are not native to the Great Lakes and are causing havoc in other ways. But we appreciate what they're doing for the visibility. As you can see, there's something out there that just doesn't look like it's in place, and I was curious what that was, so I decided to swim over and take a look, and see if I could figure it out. I couldn't. But I also didn't spend that much time trying. Fortunately that I did, when I turned around to look at the wreck, you just get a great profile of her. There on the right side in the upper corner, you see the mast laying on its side, but still attached to the ship. The other mast is not lying here in the shot. It's actually been brought up and is part of a local museum as a preservation attempt. But clearly this long piece of wood here has got something to do with the wreck. So we're approaching part of the shipwreck that is really unique, and that is the figurehead. And we're going to get close up to it and show it to you from different angles, but it's a carving. It's not a incredibly clear carving, but it's a carving that the figurehead would often take a female form, and when it would represent virtues like liberty or protection or hope. It was meant to bring good luck to the vessel. Some are molded of or carved to show goddesses or muses or even real women who were admired by the shipbuilder or the owner. So it's a great way of announcing your crush on someone. Carve them into the front of the ship. But you can kind of see where parts of it here. We're going to come along the other side and show it from this angle as well. And there's fewer muscles on this side of the figurehead, so you get a better view of it. I love touching history and just thinking of the artist who spent time to carve this figurehead and the construction of the boat and the care that went into it and the care that the sailors took in sailing her, and something about touching history just brings it alive for me. I try to do it respectfully. If you look closely up in the upper right corner, you can see those strobes telling us where the anchor line is. You know, many of the videos I put out on this channel are designed for divers who want to dive this wreck before they get on the boat and head out to it. Search YouTube and see what they're coming to so that they can make their own dive plan. They can get an idea of to what they're looking for and looking at. They can figure out what I missed and what they want to focus on. And so as I put these together, it really is designed just to let you see as much of the ship as possible, so that if you are a diver and you're properly trained and experienced, you can come out and have a good idea of what you're about to dive before you enter the water. It's personally what I'm looking for when I do YouTube searches for various shipwrecks, and so that's the content that I put out. Here you can see more damage to the hull. So here I am coming up. I've made my way all around the perimeter of the outside of the ship. Now I'm going to swim above the deck so that we can see what there is to see there. And there's a cargo hold, and you can see the wood planks. We'll get more shots of those as well, but you can see them still stacked nicely there. You can also see damage on both of the sides near the railing of the ship where some of the boards have come loose. It's very symmetrical, which makes me think that that was part of the damage that had occurred, and it wasn't just the aging of the wreck. There's all kinds of interesting artifacts in this part of the ship. You got the forecastle hatch, you've got the windlass, the fair lead, the bowsprit, excuse me. They're all pointed out on that Wisconsin Historical Society Maritime Preservation and Archaeology program drawing at the beginning of the dive that I put up. All right, I'm just going to say it. If anyone's feeling the need to quote a 1997 movie, you can go ahead and do so, but I am going to judge you harshly. Just beautiful shipwreck. Now you see a line coming off on the left side of your screen, and I am just absolutely embarrassed that I didn't follow that line to see where it leads. So that means I'm going to have to do another dive on her. So here we are coming down from the bow toward the stern on more of the starboard side. You see more cargo there. You can see in the same way that those planks on the port side have been pulled up, the same thing is here on the starboard side. Very symmetrical. Same number of, I mean, I didn't count them, but looks like just about the same number of planks, and it just seems too coincidental for that just to be the wreck falling apart. Here we have the centerboard winch and the bilge pump are there in the center of the wreck. We'll get another shot of those in a bit. That opening where the diver is going down right now, that is where the cabin would have once sat. That apparently fell off during the sinking. Back here, that second hole in the floor, or square in the floor, just near the railing, right at the end of the boat, or the ship, would have been the rudder post. And there are those strobes. Hey, I know where the anchor line's at. Follow me. Here we're getting a nicer shot of the cordwood, which was most of the cargo. Apparently there were also some hoops being transported on the Northerner on her last voyage. That fell over during the sinking. There's the bilge pump there. Tilt up a little bit, Casey. Oh, that's cargo. There's the bilge pump. And there is the centerboard winch. That would have been the forecastle hatch. I'm probably mispronouncing that. That's okay, I don't mind embarrassing myself. Try not to, but I do it all the time. If you are planning a dive on the Northerner, it is possible to do it at recreational limits, advanced open water at least. If you are properly experienced, properly certified, feeling comfortable with it. My recommendation would be to do it as a technical dive. Our run time was just about an hour, and that was enough time on her. I think a recreational limit respecting the NDL would be too short, but if that's what your plan is, then dive your plan. Good for you. You'll still enjoy it. It's a beautiful shipwreck. Some really cool things to check out on her. If you've made it this far, you must really be enjoying this schooner. As I just keep going back and forth and back and forth and just enjoying every part of this wreck that I can. From my experience, now this was my first time diving the Northerner, and it was also my first time diving out of Port Washington. From my experience, I usually am closer to Milwaukee, Chicago, and visibility of the lake is much better on this dive than most of mine. But maybe up in the Port Washington area, this is normal. I just can tell you that I was very happy with the visibility today. I might as well tell you what the temperature was in the water this day. Bottom temperature was 39 degrees Fahrenheit, and the maximum temperature of the dive was 69, so quite cold. Definitely a dry suit, definitely undergarments, definitely a great dive.